episode 2 of what's going to happen. It's been a big week for us here at Tootsie. I've been shooting a lot of stuff backstage. We've had B-roll and photographs, and opening night is next week, so there's a lot going on, a lot of outfits getting chosen, and dressing rooms, the finishing touches and the embellishments added. It's been very cool back here, but I'm not going to show you any of that. I'm just going to show you a conversation I had with Julie Halston, and I really hope you stick around and listen to all of it, because it's very special and it means a lot to our entire cast that you hear her story. So thank you for watching, and happy opening. We're opening really soon, like an hour, I think. Does this come out at 5? I think it comes out at 5. Hi, Julie.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to come in here. We talked about this, that we were going to do this.
Yes.
And I thought we could. You had a little story that you wanted to tell.
Yeah, it's a Broadway story before we open Tootsie, which is we're opening soon, and we're getting excited and nervous and all that stuff. And you know, you start ruminating a lot usually before an opening, and many people in the Broadway community know this story, and many do not. But in 2010, my husband, Ralph Howard, who many people in the Broadway community knew, had a life-saving lung transplant. But in 2017 and 2018, he really started having a lot of physical challenges. And he did pass away August of 2018. And so it was very, very challenging for the last couple of years. And I really became, a full-time caregiver, actually. And so there I was at home in the winter of 2017, and the phone rang, and it was Scott Ellis. And Scott Ellis and I have worked together before, and I adore Scott Ellis, and I really respect him as a director as well. And he was like, "Oh, hey, Halston," as he calls me. And I was like, okay, why is Scott Ellis calling me in the dead of winter? And he was like, well, I'm out in L.A., I'm doing this thing, but I'm going to be back soon, and I'm working on a workshop of Tootsie. I was like, really? I didn't know about that, and I thought I knew everything that was going on in the Broadway world. Didn't know about this. It was kind of a secretive project, I guess. And he said, well, there's a role. Her name at that time was Rita Mallory, the producer, Rita Mallory. And I don't know what this role is. It could be 2 words, 2 sentences, 200 sentences. We're trying to figure out. And he said, I feel badly about this. I feel bad about it. I don't know what to say to you. Do you think you could come in and read with the cast, and maybe we could get an idea of what this is? I just don't know what to say. Would you consider it? And I said, for you, I'll do it. Of course, absolutely. Plus, I needed to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And I went to this workshop. And I was nervous, of course, because, I'm reading this for the first time. I don't know what I'm doing. And I could see, though, as I was reading Rita Mallory, at that point, words, Robert was, laughing. A lot.
Okay, well, we were all laughing.
Okay, well, whatever. There was a lot of laughter.
Robert was laughing. He was.
And I could see a little glint in Robert's eye. And after the whole day was over, I thought, oh, well, that was a great way to spend an afternoon. Mm-hmm. And Scott Ellis kind of pulled me aside, and he goes, well, you're in the show. And I was like, what? And he said, well, you're in the show. And Robert's going to write for you. And I was like, oh. And at that point, my husband was really pretty bedridden, and I called his home care aide, and I said, hey, could you stay an extra 15 minutes? She said, of course. Because I wanted to walk home from 34th Street to 55th, because I really wanted to take this in. I hadn't been on Broadway in a couple of years. I had had such a challenging couple of years.
Yeah.
And I loved the script. I loved everyone in that room immediately. I knew this was top of the game, top of the line people. I did know Santino, and I've always wanted to work with him. It was a dream come true, and I knew that my life was going to take a better turn. There was something brighter on the horizon. And I walked home that day, and it did take me exactly 15 minutes.
Wow.
And I just cried the whole way home. And you could tell people were like on 8th Avenue were like, well, what's happening to that poor lady? They didn't help me, of course.
No, but don't you love that about New York?
Yeah. It's like you're crying, and they're just staring. And
Yeah.
they need to catch their train.
Totally.
But I just was crying tears of joy. And I got home, and I told Ralph, I said, well, I'm going to do Tootsie. It's going to Broadway. And he kind of sat up, you know, and because he was very weak at that point. And he said, well, that's my girl. And it was just fantastic. And then we did get into rehearsal.
Yeah.
He passed on August 7th, 2018. We were in rehearsal. We had the service on August 12th, which, I mean, you've heard a lot about it. It was like, wait, is Princess dying again?
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. It was like a royal funeral. It was, and I was in this room where, you know, with my family, and my phone kept dinging, which I should have turned it off, but I kept looking at the text. Nathan Lane is here. Bernadette Peters is here. Andrew Reynolds is here. Harvey Firestein's here. I was like, okay, this was crazy. We had to like open rooms because there were so many people there.
Because he was so loved.
He was so loved.
And you are so loved. That's why everybody just showed up for
It was
you.
really amazing. We got on a plane 9 days later, and we went to Chicago, which is one of Ralph's favorite cities, and he worked there for 5 years in Chicago radio, WBBM, WIND, and we arrived, and the first thing they do is put you in a shuttle, and they're like, we're taking you food shopping. And of course, we were freaking out. Sarah and I were freaking out because John Bellman, whom you'll all know in about 5 minutes, had already ordered things.
Yeah.
He was already at the gym.
He was at the gym, yeah.
He had ordered deliveries.
Yeah. And we just, like, wanted water.
Yeah, we didn't know what was happening. But anyway, we went to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember walking out of the Trader Joe's.
And Ralph's favorite terrible Mexican restaurant in Chicago is Su Casa.
Yeah.
And we had been there a number of times. And I had forgotten that that's where Su Casa was.
Yeah.
So it was very moving for me to literally walk out of Trader Joe's. I didn't know where I was exactly.
Yeah.
And to see Su Casa. But it was almost like Ralph was just with us. And he was sort of following us around.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
You kept coming every day at the theater. You would come back and there'd be another story.
Another
about
incident,
like that.
you know? And it was like, oh my God, I just ran into so-and-so who knew that one, and he knew that one.
And I just say, you were so just full of joy and positive and smiling and laughing anytime I saw you. And I know it wasn't always like that. I know that there were a lot of hard times for you, and we talked about that too. But man, you are such a light, and you brought such a light backstage for all of us.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And it must have been really hard, really hard.
I am one of those people that I do find joy in the theater, and I love being with all of you. And this is a particularly joyous cast.
It's true, yeah.
It really is. Although I love everything about the theater.
Yeah.
You know, I love signing in. I love crews. I love saying, Scotty, you know, how are you?
Hang up my picture.
Yeah, whatever. Well, what are you moving now? You know, I love the whole thing. I love everything about the theater.
Yeah.
I love walking right into the stage door and into a crappy alley.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause sometimes there are just crappy alleys. But
Not
I just
here.
love the whole
Not
thing.
here.
Not here. Now we have a nice,
Yeah.
But, you know, the whole thing. And it was really Ralph, actually, because he loved everything about a newsroom. He just loved the whole thing. He loved hearing the tick-tick of typewriters or the computers.
Yeah,
He loved
the buzzing of all of it.
and he loved, you know, the news director and the ripping of paper and, you know, we got breaking news. So he and I used to talk about these kind of things. And so I like bringing that kind of positive energy.
Yeah.
And also, listen, I'm with the funniest people on the planet. Why wouldn't I want to be bringing joy? And we just laugh all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
And it helped me get through a lot. yes, there were some bad nights, and there were moments, where I would be like running, for example, in the morning sometimes around, the bridges of Chicago, and the Lakeshore Drive, and I'd get very sad and very forlorn about something, but then I would go to the theater. And I would be just like, the shoes are not working. You know what I mean? We got to get new shoes. And it was joyous and it was wonderful. So, and let me
show the picture.
Yeah, here he is. So here's our wedding.
Look at that beautiful
We did
photo.
that wedding for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS in 1992. We raised money for Broadway Cares, which is, of course, our Broadway charity. And we had so much fun, and it was so wonderful. And so, this is particularly poignant because it will be my first Broadway opening without my husband. But I really feel he's here, he's with us, he's somehow beaming, and he's saying, get out there, Rita Marshall, because it's now Rita Marshall. Get out there, Rita Marshall. So I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy. I love the Broadway community so much. I've said it before. It's like I can't walk down 9th Avenue. I can't get to Amy's Bread without being stopped a million times, and I love it, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, we are better for having you around.
Well, bless you, honey, and you are brilliant, wonderful, and we're all here together for each other.
Yeah.
And I think theater's made me a better person. It's strange to think about that.
No, I think that's true.
It's made me a better person.
Yeah.
This is a community that is about being together, not apart.
Fun.
And it's not always like that in show business. It's full of,
crazy people.
bitches and whores and people who belong in a hospital. But this is a very supportive community.
No. Well, gosh, I love you so much, Julie Halston.
I love you, honey.
I think you are just the bee's knees.
And we love you all.
Yes.
We love you all.
Thank you for sharing this story, because I think it's really important that people know, you know.
You. Thank you, honey.
And this is going to come out right before, like an hour before we open. And I know you may need some space and you need some time on that night, but when you need us, we're right here for you.
I know that, and I really do know that. And as I said before, Sarah, I really am. First of all, I'm just crazy for your talent, but I really do love you, and I actually mean it. I mean it.
Well, I mean it too.
You.
All right.
Thank you, honey.
Happy opening.
Thank you, you too.